This year's conference carries special meaning for us, since it is the first time that this gathering takes place outside Athens. We're simply delighted to be in Thessaloniki, not only because we are convinced that it is important to venture outside the capital, Athens, and engage other areas of the country, but most importantly because Thessaloniki, Greece's second largest city, is a very special place. Avoiding the maladies of nostalgia and the pitfalls of suggesting that all was well in the region, the strife plaguing the whole Mediterranean basin today should motivate us to look back and consider carefully the multicultural past. The refugee crisis has become Mediterranean's most disruptive issue, with far-reaching consequences for the whole area and the explosive potential to rip the whole region apart. We do sincerely hope that Thessaloniki will also grab its own opportunity to follow a similar path with that of Barcelona more than 20 years ago and become a thriving international port hub for Greece, for Europe, for the world.
And shorter, sometimes calamitous periods of disintegration, characterized by severe economic contraction and by political disjuncture.
All of these are migrants who have come into Europe recently. Each of those orange things, each of those black things represent one person. Today in this panel is simply to talk about that. This is our living room. We nine are going to have a conversation about all of these issues. Your living room looks like this, I'm sure, warm, comfortable, informal. And I want to invite you to join the conversation. This is not going to be a series of presentations, a series of PowerPoints. It's going to be a conversation.
Think about what unites people in terms of their physical movements. And then the question was, well, if you thought about what unites and what divides people on the basis of their physical movements, then how visually could you explore that idea?
Because it was really about just looking at people very discreetly and how they moved, how they walked, how they talked on the mobile phone, how they used their iPad, how they were sitting in Platea Victoria. And maybe the great goddess of Platea Victoria was actually called Wi-Fi, because that's why people were going to Platea Victoria, because there was free Wi-Fi from the local council and they could plan the next leg of the journey to Germany or wherever.
I said that you cannot build your future unless you know your past. This is not copy the past, but learn from the past and apply new things. This is the main thing. So we have a motto, and we try to pass to our citizens. I love my city, I adopt my neighborhood. In Greece, we invented enemies. Everybody is against us. The Albanians are against us, the Skopjes are against us, the Turks are against us, God is against us, everybody's against us. So, but at the same time,
and then you're in trouble if God is against you.
At the same time, we are the most clever people in the world, and we have inherited.
We think so.
Yeah.
Food and energy and water, climate, and the environment is so intertwined, inescapable. When we think about moving one piece, other pieces will start to crumble. For a very, very long time, and this has been a source of pride for the Mediterranean region, the Mediterranean diet has been held out as the most healthful diet. There are many, many debates about this in nutrition, but by and large, the Mediterranean way of eating, the way in which Dimitri has described it, is considered to be very good for human health. It is also, as it turns out, very good for planetary health. It is a very environmentally sustainable way of eating in terms of the impact on the local environment and also in terms of economic well-being for local populations.
And if you link it to culture, then people understand that their city is exactly as important as Palmyra. Palmyra is simply inhabited. There are no people there. This is why it's deemed, by ordinary people uninteresting. But if you link the two, they understand that a piece of themselves is disappearing.
يا غربتي في بلاد الناس جميع من يجوز يقول لنا
How easy it is to seek support for whatever it is that you do, what kind of narrative you put forward in order to seek support, who is it that supports you, is it foundations, is it people, societies, how do you achieve the levels of solidarity that you have or have not experienced, and what are the challenges?
What inspired me, I went for just 1 week last year in Lesbos, just to volunteer. I thought I was going to just give out some clothes, maybe make some sandwiches. And then I saw these people walking 70 kilometers from the north part of Lesbos to the centers down. That was a 3 days walk. Back then there were no buses, people were walking the whole distance, unless some tourists would donate some money for buses, and that's where normal walking came from, because our first initiative was to collect money to pay for buses for mothers and kids not to have to walk for 3 days.
And everywhere we go, at least I'm reminded of the unique power of theater as a technology, as refined as Athenian architecture, as a 5th century art, as refined as the political systems and legal systems that developed during that quantum leap that happened humanistically during that century, as refined a technology as there is, for delivering an experience that as Jamie articulated so beautifully, is boundary dissolving, that dissolves the boundaries between those who come to see it.
Thanks to the Megaro Youth Symphony Orchestra. It was a wonderful musical break. The orchestra is a project supported by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation. The whole idea started 2 years ago, and 1 year ago, in April 2015, the orchestra presented their first concert together with the European Union Youth Orchestra. And I think the better word to describe this whole experience is their title, Musa, which in English means muse, the word for inspiration and creativity, the word of the goddesses, according to the ancient Greek mythology, that were patrons of arts, literature, science, music, of course. So what better? And thanks a lot, and congratulations, and keep going on. Huh?